Thank you, sir. I would like to present before you a brief introduction about our guest of honor, Mr. Roopank Chaudhary. Roopank Chaudhary is an associate partner with Hewitt and the India head for McLagan. He is also the regional insurance head for McLagan for Asia Pacific. Roopank manages key client relationships with large banks and financial institutions including multinational investment banks, public sector banks, insurance, asset management companies, non-banking financial companies and financial service conglomerates for Hewitt. He has assisted many multinational and local financial services organizations with their human capital challenges in India, APAC and in the Middle East region. He has worked with clients in India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Mauritius, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Japan, Singapore, UAE, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Bahrain, Qatar and Kuwait. He is also the editor of the Hewitt Total Rewards Quarterly (TRQ) magazine, a quarterly publication showcasing thought leadership and trends in the rewards consulting space in India. Roopank has authored various articles and shared perspectives on management issues in leading Indian media publications like Business Standard, Business Today, Huffington Post, Business Insider, etc. and regularly contributes white papers and articles on HR. He also partners with leading industry forum as a thought leader and is a speaker in several annual seminars and HR forums. Prior to his tenure at Hewitt, Roopank spent 4 years in retail and corporate banking. He was an assistant vice president in the corporate and investment bank at HSBC in Delhi, managing a portfolio of large Indian private sector corporates as well as key MNC clients. His experience spanned relationship management as well as credit analysis. He has a master's in business administration from Indian Institute of Management, Indore, a bachelor's in economics from St. Stephen's College, Delhi, and a postgraduate degree in journalism from Indian Institute of Mass Communication. An avid reader, Bollywood buff, traveler and writer, Roopank has just recently got his first collection of poems, Moments, an anthology, published. May I now invite our guest, Mr. Roopank Chaudhary, to address the gathering.
Good evening. First of all, thank you, Professor Krishnan, for giving me this honor of being a chief guest at the pre-convocation ceremony of IIM Indore. I think it is a dream for any student graduating from an institute to be called back as a chief guest on an occasion like this. It certainly was a dream for me when I graduated 15 years back from IIM Indore. So thank you again for making this dream come true. Respected faculty, a few of whom have had the difficult time of teaching me as well. It's good to still see you around. I am my staff, parents, and of course, our graduating students. Thank you for having me over. It is indeed a privilege. A wise man once said, convocation speeches were invented largely in the belief that outgoing college students should never be released into the world unless they have been properly sedated. I was asked by Professor Krishnan's office to send my PPT before I came here. The good news for all you young bright scholars who are, I guess, extremely bored of PPTs is that I have none. The bad news is that I still have been entrusted the task of giving you some tips and advice as you step out into the dark, dreary world of corporate reality. So bear with me as I fulfill that onerous task, which is of sedating you. I thought hard about what I would be feeling if I was sitting in your place across the dais. And then I told myself that if I were you, I would just look at the man on stage and say, it's just so easy and convenient for this guy to come and say all these big words because there is some element of success that he seems to have achieved. I sometimes feel the same way when Shah Rukh Khan loudly proclaims that you should follow your passion. Or when best-selling author Paulo Coelho says that you should listen to your heart. Or when a startup superstar wildly proclaims that you should dare to dream. To make matters worse, I'm not even Shah Rukh Khan. For the matter, any Khan. I have written a book, but I haven't been able to sell beyond 20 copies, and I have absolutely no startup story in my mundane corporate life. So the question is that why should you listen to me, or for that matter to anybody? Just in case you decide to listen to me, my first advice stems from the very corollary of what I just said. Don't let anyone ever tell you how to achieve success. Success itself is so individual, so specific. It cannot be measured by a consistent yardstick. What may be successful for somebody may not be successful for the other person. So there is absolutely no common definition of success. It will always mean different things to different people. Hence, nobody can actually tell you how to achieve it. It worked for people, but it may not work for you. You will learn your own lessons, chart out your own destiny, and learn to trust your own instincts, and you will realize whether you are successful or not. Believe me, there are no formulae for success, there are no bullet points either. When I graduated in 2001, there was no campus. There was not even a hint of a campus. And look at where we are right now. Our batch had 37 people. Now I'm told we have 450 people. Our batch was also fairly famous because ours was the smallest batch, 37. The one before us was a little bigger. And we also had no girls in our batch. That tradition has held even till now. But look at where we are right now. We were the 6th IIM when we graduated. Now we lost count of how many IIMs there are. Every year there are 10 IIMs which get added. We lived our lives blissfully and romantically because we had no cell phones and we had no Google Maps. We actually spoke to people face to face, and we kept getting lost and then kept finding ourselves again and again. When it came to campus, on placement day, there were only 3 sectors which mattered. Investment banking, because I was talking about the pre-Lehman era, consulting, which was just booming in India, and IT, because we hadn't seen the dot-com crisis. Hence, what I've seen in the last 15 years is that the pace of change is so rapid that nothing remains relevant beyond a point in time. Hence, my advice to you is learn to adapt and adjust as quickly as you can because things are changing very rapidly. Today's jobs are less about specialization and linear progressions. Fungibility and flexibility rule the roost, and people who are able to get these skills upfront will be far ahead of people who get left behind, aging and archaic. Career progressions are unorthodox and are based more on intent than on structure. Take an example today. You have bankers who can move to e-commerce companies. You have telecom techies who are now becoming payment bankers. FMCG fast trackers are becoming media moguls. And investment bankers are best-selling but terribly bad authors. So leave your playing position open and be ready to open the innings, consolidate the game or finish the match, whatever you may be required to do. Take yourself with a pinch of salt and your degree with a handful of salt. Yes, you have been part of an IIM, a coveted institute, which will no doubt catapult you into the big league and be a passport for many a job in your early careers. There's no doubt about that. But then after a point of time, it will not matter anymore. You will encounter people, bosses, subordinates, peers, mentors, partners, who will be from colleges, much lesser known colleges than you. However, they will be as good as you. And in some cases, they'll be even better than you. So, carry the IIM badge proudly, but drop the arrogance and drop the air. Be humble at all times. Never underestimate competition, and remember, hunger and passion can always outrun great education. And most importantly, remember that most of history's most successful men, in the classical sense that is, were dropouts. Last and the most important piece of advice that I have for you, of course, that is if you're still listening to me, is that remember my first piece of advice. Don't let anyone tell you how to succeed or to survive. So forget everything I said standing here and live life on your own terms. As you will grow older, as I have realized, you will fathom the fact that there is no point in taking yourself so seriously. Yes, there is no romance in poverty, which is why I am not a writer by profession, only by passion. Also because I am not as lucky as Chetan Bhagat. But there is also no joy in killing yourself to earn a successful life, but forgetting to live it when you can. And you are lucky to have one. My first presentation in IIM Indore in June of 1999 was of a poem. It was for a module of MOC, Managerial Oral Communication. I don't know if you guys still have it. We used to have MWC, Manager Written Communication, and MOC, Managerial Oral Communication. And Professor Sogata Ray, our PGP chairperson, who eventually moved on to IIM Calcutta, liked the fact that I chose a poem to present rather than PowerPoint slides. I still got a C in that. So let me end by reciting a poem, not mine thankfully, of one of my favorite poets, W.B. Yeats, which sums up the promise of life rather simply. Respected faculty, please allow this little bit of poetic indulgence as I end my speech. The name of the poem is called A Drinking Song, and I'm hoping that everybody out here is above 18 years of age. A drinking song. Wine comes in at the mouth, and love comes in at the eye. That's all we shall know for truth before we grow old and die. I lift the glass to my mouth, I look at you, and I sigh. Thank you very much.